Hey everyone, it's your Peacekeeper coming at you with an epic battle replay? Question mark. Yes, I'm asking that as a question because I want you guys to decide at the end of this whether or not you feel this deserves the title of that. And the reason why I'm asking that question is, well, you'll see when we get there. I'm not going to spoil the details too much for you. This is a tier 10 match. We are on the map Loop. There are carriers on both teams, so in some people's books, this is a legit game. I am currently playing in this match with two STW members, Land Warrior and Hawk USMC. And before we kind of launch off onto this, I do want to state that Hawk USMC tends to go a little overboard in the chat sometimes. It's my understanding that he's been chatted at by some of the higher ups in STW about the behavior, and so I just want you guys to know, be aware. This video shows him going way off on some people, not necessarily calling names, but at least nothing that's like super bad names, but definitely being kind of salty about the way things shake out. The map is Loop. This map is really a frustrating map, especially at tier 10. It seems that gameplay stagnates really heavily at either the B cap or the A or C caps, and there's really not a good strategy for this map aside from it's a crap sandwich. You just, deal with it one bite at a time. And so we're going to kind of head off to A. Now, you would think with two Grosser Kurfürsts and a Yamato, we would be able to really push and really cap. And no, I'm not going to spoil it quite yet. So we are kind of headed off towards B, at least at the outset of this, until we can figure out kind of what the enemy team is doing. And usually on this map, it seems like everybody tends to go either all to A or all to C. Sometimes you'll see some guys go to B, but for certain in this battle, I want to try and support B as much as possible because that seems to be one of the harder caps to actually take and hold consistently, especially if everybody goes to one side or the other like they kind of are at this point in the game. That's kind of frustrating to deal with, but we're going to start off by a opening salvo at a Montana. Now, this Yamato build is, as you guys saw in the How to Play series, it is an accuracy / rate of fire build, which means that we definitely have a need to stay at, I don't want to say long ranges, but we definitely don't want to be up close and personal because of the turret traverse issue. Plus, we got all the, rate of fire advantages for the longer range stuff and accuracy too. You'll see some OPG guys. You've got an OPG-2 USS Enterprise. He will come up at the end of this. Doom 117, he's another OPG guy that's on their team. So right now we're just kind of fishing for targets to shoot at here, something that's actually worth wasting the shells fire on. And to start off, I'm going to turn away, and the reason I'm turning away is because I'm up here basically by myself. I don't have destroyer escort, I don't have a smoke, any form of smoke, I don't have really any support from any other battleships, and that is not a good thing to just start off pushing up into a cap like B without any of that support. Oh, first salvo off on that Kutuzov, and we get a Citadel for 14,800 damage. I bet that one hurt. And so you can see here, our team makes a pretty fatal strategy. I mean, this is not the ideal strategy. You don't want your whole team to go to A or C. You definitely want your team to primarily push B unless you have a need, like for instance, both teams decide to go to the same cap, at which point you definitely need to, spread out even further. A blind shot at that Kutuzov and smoke, really a wasted salvo. I don't recommend it. You will occasionally get lucky. I did not. And he is still shooting at me. So part of the frustration that I have with this game is look at what's going on at A right now. The match has been going for almost 4 full minutes, and nobody has bothered to put a single wake in A. No one. Nothing. Yes, we lost our DD at the beginning of this match, our only DD, so that is really frustrating. However, we definitely need to address this problem, and like now, because we need caps bad. So we're going to turn back in, and unfortunately, with the way that their team is set up, we're going to be exposing a broadside for a long time. Oop, hey, Citadel, and a normal pen and an overpen for 21,000 damage. Can't argue about that. Oh, hello, Mr. Zhao. Sorry, did not mean to run into you there. Somebody needs to kill this Kutuzov off, but thankfully we're at a long enough range here where we're not being detected by what's shooting at us on the other side of the map, which means that we can kind of get away with being broadside for a little bit, but we really need to push. So I'm going to turn in. We fired at this Montana that's kind of sitting stationary, not presenting a good profile, but really the only thing to shoot at. And of course, you know, one normal pen somehow only ends up being 1,400 damage. Yep, a little frustrated by that. So it looks like we finally got some people into A, so that means that good news. We can hopefully start to... Oh, Ibuki going broadside, don't mind if I do. Continue this push to B, because that's really what needs to happen. And one normal pen and 2 over pens. I think it was about 2K, which doesn't make any sense either. Now, this Missouri, you can see him on the mini-map. You got a Montana over here that's kind of a tempting target, but you can see Mr. Enterprise is coming around the bend. Coming around the mountain, more or less. And yes, that is a reference to a folk song. We also have another Yamato coming around as well, also broadside to us. And the nice part about where I'm at is I'm in a decent enough position where I've got enough targets to shoot at that are broadside. The problem is we got to pay attention to this Missouri, because when he comes around this corner, we don't want to be exposing a broadside to him, but by the same token, we also need to cap B. Nobody is doing that at the moment. In fact, our whole team is camping almost entirely at B. Well, you know, you deal with the situation as it comes up. But this is definitely a case. We've got 2 Grosser Kerfers that are still alive. I'm still alive. I'm actually in a pretty good position here to not only support our team going forward into B, but also to push myself. But because of this Enterprise, USS Enterprise, the Missouri coming around this corner, and because there is currently no one else pushing, we're going to turn out and away. And it's a good timing on my part because we've got torpedo bombers coming in. So here he is. He's broadside. He is not looking at me currently. So we're going to take a pot shot at him. Maybe we'll get a Citadel. Maybe we won't. No, he's going to start turning in right away. So we'll take off 10K though. And torpedo bombers are getting shot up and eaten up, which is a good thing. We got to keep turning away from those torpedo bombers, though. And unfortunately, this is going to put us kind of into a long-range situation here. But we're kind of forced to do this via the torpedo bombers coming in. So torpedo bombers, we're shooting them down. Yamato's ridiculously bad AA is actually doing some work, but the fighter got shot down by a torpedo bomber. So there's a mistake there. Should have continued turning, but that's all right. Hindsight being 20/20, as they say. And of course, now the Missouri has ducked behind the island. He is no longer a threat. We can turn back around, get back into position, and start pushing. Now it looks like our team is trying to kind of do a mixed push here, and I really don't recommend this. What really should have happened is we probably should have just pushed straight east from A, but that's not what happened, so we're kind of dealing with what we've got. I'm way out of position at this point, so I'm going to try and turn myself around here and get into a good firing position on their targets. We got an Ibuki that's coming out. That would be the other OPG guy in this match, and Montana magically bounces 5 shells. Now, yes, he's angled pretty good to me, but those shells look like they hit areas where it would have at least gotten over pens, but I guess not. We are up to 60,307 damage. We got 5 kills somehow, or 5 aircraft kills somehow. I have a feeling it has to do with the tier 7 or whatever aircraft it is. Montana is still the only target that's really viable to us. Nothing else is being spotted. Team-wise, we're actually ahead via a number of ships, but we are down in points just ever so slightly. So the match is nowhere near over. And that looks good. 1,400 damage. My. That's because he is actually angled to us pretty heavily. So 4 bounces there. Really rather unfortunate. That would have been awesome to see a dev strike or something. Didn't happen. Alright, so we've got ourselves a Bismarck and an Ibuki over here. Definitely going to start pushing this way. And again, at this point I'm looking for flanks to push. I mean, our team obviously is going to be stuck at A because of raisins. 20,832 damage there on that broadside Bismarck. Land Warrior and I are going to try and push, you know, up and around this way to see if we can't force the issue, either force them to advance into our team or to, you know, take out whatever ships we can and hopefully, you know, get points back on the board. Unfortunately, Land Warrior is getting focused by their Shokaku, and that adds some serious complications to this because I don't have nearly the anti-aircraft suite to provide AA coverage for him. And unfortunately, that means he's going to eat torpedoes, and that means he is going to die. So he ends up taking, I think it's only 1 torpedo, but I think it's inconveniently timed with a flood there, in addition to a fire. So not good. That Montana is now somewhat broadside to us, and we take 34,484 hit points off for the trouble. Unfortunately, Land Warrior is now dying. And this push is over, because I cannot push up against a Montana, a Bismarck, and an Ibuki by myself, especially not when they have the support of another Montana and a Missouri just around the island there. Definitely got to still keep ourselves angled pretty heavily. Ooh, will we get a Citadel on either one of them? No. Dang it. Well, that's unfortunate. So was really kind of hoping there that we would at least sink the Montana, but that didn't happen. He managed to slow down enough. We're going to angle in. Don't. No damage taken. You know, one of the few times that we don't take an insane amount of damage from 16-inch shells while angled. Angled just enough that it's not an issue, and now the Montana, down he goes. We are up to 134,000 damage. We've shot down an impressive 9 aircraft so far. And we are now at least behind the island, and we can at least take a reprieve from all of the HE spam that was going on. And this Iowa is starting to push up, which is great. I would like to push with him. The only problem with pushing at this point is, once again, there is an Ibuki, a Montana, and a Bismarck all in one. Plus, we've got, you know, Enterprise E over here that is just sailing broadside. Pretty dang close to broadside. And I would like to punish him for that. So we're going to shoot at him. With the where I'm at right now, if I were to turn right and try and angle in, what would end up happening... Ooh, 15,486 damage. What would happen is I would be exposing a huge broadside to that Montana, because that Montana, all it would take for him to do is come around. Plus, there's still no support. We have a Hawk and a Grosser Kurfürst all the way in the northwest. We have a North Carolina all the way in the northwest. We have, I don't know what cruiser that is. Zhao? That's a Zhao. That's all the way in the northwest. I'm surprised that they are not pushing into B, and had they, it would have probably benefited us greatly. 63, 64, and an incapacitation of a turret. Not terrible, but man, would have been nice to do a little bit more damage. Now he's opening up again. This is one of the times where the advantages of the rate of fire of this ship with the reload module comes in handy. You can see we can add up damage pretty dang quick with this thing. And, okay, so Enterprise is turning in, Iowa is turning in, took off a pretty decent chunk there. Burning a damage control party there, we're out of repairs. It would be nice to have, I don't remember if Superintendent is on this captain or not, but I can't believe I burned through all those heals. Okay, so down goes Big E, and we got Ibuki, a nearly dead Montana that's backing up. We're going to take him out of the fight, and then we're going to deal with this Bismarck that's behind us. Now, the Iowa goes down to torpedoes launched by the Shokaku. Don't know that anyone would ever actually been able to help him with that. Maybe the Zhao could have, or the Hipper, had either one of them been within range to use their defensive fire, but Buki's far enough away, he's not a threat. That leaves pretty much this Bismarck and I. Now, this Bismarck is doing something that's pretty evil. He knows I've burned my damage control party. He's shooting HE at me, trying to avoid and dodge, and unfortunately he gets a fire. And maybe that's just the way he's playing because he doesn't know any better, but it was actually ended up being a very convenient time for that fire to start because I still got time left on there waiting for the damage control party to come up. 9,300 damage there. You can see we're up to 2 kills, 186,000 damage, 612. Team situation looking all right, but points are still looking pretty bad. Definitely need the North Carolina to push, the Hipper to push, the Zhao to push. Another 5,000 taken off the Bismarck. Doing my dangdest here. Oh, managed to dodge dive bomber and incoming dive bomber fire. We've got the Cylon. We've got no choice. Got to expose broadside. 4,300 damage there on the Bismarck, and he is still shooting HE at me. Would be nice if he would stop shooting HE at me. Well, now his secondaries are getting in. We got no choice. We're just going to finish this turn and go all in, and we're going to die anyway. So the best I can hope for at this point is to do a lot of damage to him, help the team out. Maybe we can win this match. And the 7,844 damage. We're up to 207,000 damage, 839 points in total, and 9 aircraft kills, and you can see down we go. Now, the reason why I'm asking, is this an epic battle? I don't know. Well, we're up to 207,839 damage, but, it doesn't look like we're going to win this. They're way ahead in points. Our team is so spread out that they can't really concentrate fire. And yes, I'm getting a little salty there about a 200 and almost 8,000 damage game being thrown away to a loss. Mostly due to team that was unwilling to really push. And, okay, so down goes the Bismarck. And now Enterprise pops up with the comments. Apparently, I was playing too passive for him. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really feel like I was playing passive at all. I was responding to situations that occurred, and I was near B almost the entire match in some capacity. So it's not like I was completely, off in the boonies the entire match. I was tanking damage. In fact, we'll see it at the end of this when we get to the end credit screen, that I got a high potential damage. It's not like it was something where I was just, off in the loonies, shooting behind islands and being all stealth-like in the whole 9 yards. I was engaging targets as best I could. I was pushing. I was taking fire. I was responding to the thing. I can't push into 5 battleships, of which 3 of them were tier 10 battleships. I just can't do that by myself, and our whole team wasn't really pushing. So I'm not sure how this can really be put onto me. You guys tell me. Am I in the wrong in my thinking here? Was this entirely on my shoulders? Should have I pushed more into the cap? Would have it actually done anything for me to push into the cap without any support? I don't think so. I think I would have died a lot earlier in this match and wouldn't have contributed nearly as much as I did. And that's just my opinion. Now, I thought I was in a pretty good place map position-wise to support the team's advance. Maybe I should have been up front because, Yamato, the ultimate tank, but I don't know. You let me know down in the comments. All right, so we're finally at the end screen. And so 207,838 damage, 5 citadels, 2 kills, 1573, which, by the way, puts me just like 100 points behind Mr. Big Talker there. Potential damage, 2.249 million potential damage and 130,000 credits and XP. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. Was it epic? Was I playing too passive? I don't know. You let me know. Anyway, I'm your Peacekeeper. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.